Hey guys, my name's Alasdair Cunningham. Welcome to this week's edition of on my Property Investors YouTube channel. I am very, very fortunate to have with me as a special guest the wonderful Mr. Tom Cooke. Now, let me tell you something about Tom Cooke before I get him to say hi. Tom, in himself, is a world-class trainer. He is a trainer when it comes to mindset, clarity, goals, direction, general business advice. I know he's helping so many people leave their 9-to-5 job, and I know he comes from a position to serve. Interestingly, Tom comes to all of our events and he heads up the whole crew department. He's our crew chief. Now, the reason he does that is not because he's there to make money. It's because he knows that if he serves, he'll get in return. He knows that when he comes and he serves the events and he helps people, he knows that will always bring opportunities. It will bring a fruitful future, and it will bring loads and loads and loads and loads of good vibes. Now, Tom is an amazing guy. He really is, and I'm honored to have him on the show. So, Tom, my friend, say hi to my guests.
How you doing? How's everybody doing? Alasdair, I just want to say thank you so much for having me on your channel. I really appreciate it, and I know a time like this, I think this is going to be a really important conversation that we're going to have for people today.
You know, I've been doing lots of coaching webinars with some academy students and some of my private students, and 6 calls I've done today, and 6 people have all said to me they're feeling a little bit down, they're feeling very isolated, they're lacking motivation, they're lacking clarity, they're lacking the drive. And a lot of it's to do with this. A lot of it is up here. It's mindset. And mindset's the biggest thing, I think, in this business. You've got to fix this before you can be successful. I don't know. What do you think about that?
Yeah, absolutely. In anything, it's like I always see that people, whether it's property, health and fitness, social media marketing, whatever it is, people go full steam into it. And then they realize that they don't have the mindset.
Mm-hmm.
And that is where they start hitting the obstacles, because, you know, the little voices come up, the fears come up, you know, they don't believe that they're good enough to do it. So this is you fix up here, and the results will come.
Do you know what I've seen? I've seen many times people they get the mechanics of the business right. So they get the day-to-day bits of the business right, and they get it so it's all right to set up with. But then they don't worry about this. They don't think about this. And then suddenly they get a couple of obstacles, and then suddenly they get some negativity, or they get some hate online, or they get some criticism, and that takes them out the game. I was working with a student about a year ago, and his name was Nathan, and he's a really nice lad, and he was doing really well. And then he started to get a lot of hate online, because that's what happens when you put your head up above the water line. People try and swipe it out, because that's what happens in life. People get jealous, people become hatred towards you, and they just try and do that. And what happened is he started getting a lot of criticism. People saying, "Oh, you shouldn't be doing this, it's unethical." And he literally went into hiding for 2 weeks. Literally, I didn't hear from him for 2 weeks. And I'm like, where's he gone? And it turns out he messaged me and said, "Look, I've been really struggling for the last 2 weeks, just with all this negativity and hate." And it was like, I contemplated giving up. And I'm thankfully didn't give up, because he's now gone on to create a very successful property business. And he's now got a very successful property business, property YouTube channel. And like, he's come above it all. But it did nearly take him out of the game, because he let them little voices and that negativity play with this. And it's so important that you can filter all that crap out. It's so important, in my opinion, anyway.
That's a mindset shift in itself, because a lot of people, if you're going to go big, if you're going to get success and start achieving some incredible things, you're going to get noticed for it.
Yeah.
What a lot of people do is they, like you say, they get that criticism comes in, and then they back off, because it's like, whoa, I'm not made for this.
Yeah.
But actually, the mindset shift needs to be is going, hang on, I'm getting criticism, I'm doing something right. Something for me.
That's a good point you just made. Take the criticism as do you know what? That means I'm doing something right, because people are noticing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you have 100 followers, if you have 100 people following you, they support you, but one person is negative, that just the way humans are set up with negativity, that one person will be the loudest.
Yeah.
One out of 100 people.
The thing is, they tend to be as well, don't they? And like, I get it. I see. Look, I get hate, I get negativity every single day. And I'm now at a point now where I actually don't care what these people think. I really don't. I really do not give a. I'll tell you, at the minute, I've got somebody trying to blackmail me, and this he asked to borrow some money off me, and I said no. And then I've since had loads of death threats and all sorts come through. And like they all listen, a bombardment of abuse, right? I do not give a rip. I think it's hilarious, right? It's very serious what he's doing, but I think it's hilarious because it doesn't affect me. But just think how many people wouldn't be able to handle that, and it would take them out of the game. Do you know what I mean? That would take them out of the business and out of the game. And this is what happens. You put yourself out there, people are going to notice, people are going to criticize. And if your mindset is not in the right place to deal with that, and I'll be honest, when I first started, my mindset wasn't. My mindset was very negative, very skeptical. It was very much of you're just trying to sell to me. That's what it was. I never thought anybody wanted to help. I always thought nobody wanted to help anybody. It's all about money. Everything's about money. Everything's about how much can you earn out of me. That's what I used to think it was. Now I realize I've changed my mindset, and I realize that, do you know what? There is some genuine people out there that want to help you and want to see you succeed. And yes, if there's an exchange of money, that's just business. That's life. There's got to be a fair exchange. Value for money. It's got to be a fair exchange. So yeah, that's sort of you've just got to be. I think you've got to have broad shoulders. You've got to be able to take the heat. And it all starts up here. Tell me a little bit about what you do with some of your coaching clients and that. Tell our guests and our viewers what your business entails.
Sure. No, thank you. So the coaching for me is what I focus on with clients is establishing, what is it the goal that they want?
Yeah.
What goal do they want to achieve at the end of the time that we're working together? And what we then go after is setting up the specific measurables to hold. Accountability is such a big part of things. If you want to, you've got to be accountable.
Yeah.
And I really enjoy holding people accountable. If you say you're going to do something, I enjoy holding you to account, because it's in the action. It's in the action. You take action, you get results.
Yeah.
So a lot of the coaching is focused around that as well, but strongly on mindset. Like we've just been talking about, if people haven't got it figured out up here, they're not going to see the results for themselves.
Yeah.
And my mentors I've seen from Blair Singer, Mac Attram as well, they'll talk a lot about your self-concept. Your results will only exceed your self-concept. And what I mean by self-concept is your self-image. So the way you see yourself as a person, when you look in the mirror, do you see somebody who's ugly or do you see somebody who's beautiful? Your self-ideals as well. So, who is it that you aspire to be? Nelson Mandela, Martin Luther King, all these iconic figures. But also your self-esteem. How do you feel about yourself? So if you increase these, your results are going to increase.
I agree with that entirely. Obviously, like myself, you've invested a lot of money in your own personal development and your own education. I know you've been to Making the Stage in India. You've done Train the Trainer. You've done Master Facilitator. You've done lots and lots and lots of training programs all around the world with world-class trainers. You mentioned one there, a guy called Blair Singer. For those of you who don't know who Blair Singer is, Blair Singer he's the author of Sales Dogs and a couple of very, very successful books. Also, Robert Kiyosaki's business partner back in the day. I'm not sure about nowadays, but back in the day, he certainly was. He's a very, very, I would say he's probably one of the best trainers in the world. Very, very good guy. Really humble guy as well. But I attended a program called Making the Stage. I know you done it in 2018.
2018, yeah. December.
You done it with Russell as well. You were there with Russell.
I just met Russell.
Yeah. So I done that last year, 2019, in India. And I had the honor of being trained by Blair, Mac Attram, Zoltan, and Larry Gilman. These are all world-class trainers, and they focus a lot on personal development. They focus a lot on this, the mindset, and also this, the heart. And it's truly amazing. But I think you've really got to be able to get on top of this if you want to be successful in business. I really believe that. I think if you cannot sort this out, you're always going to struggle. I just think you are. I think because you always going to have something that takes you out of the game. There's always going to be a reason. There's always going to be an excuse. It's like you mentioned earlier, little voices, and talk to me about that. Where do they come from? What are the little voices?
So we have, obviously, in your subconscious is all your memories, all your experiences from the past, all the times that you've lost money, all the time that somebody's you or said horrible things about you. They're all buried in there. So what happens is now when we go about our day-to-day, when we're trying to make money, when we're trying to succeed in business, we get triggered. People say things to us, people do things, we see things, and the triggers those past experiences, those past memories. And that is what people are then projecting into the current moment.
How can we go about, though, because we all have voices. Everyone has little voices. And I know what you're thinking. You're sitting there thinking, I don't have any voices. Well, guess what? That's your little voice.
Yeah.
You all have voices, okay? So what can we do to eliminate these voices? Because I'll be honest, when I started in this game, I didn't have little voices. I had like orchestras shouting, screaming at me. So what can we do to make them as small as possible and to just get over that and to not let them distract us from moving forward in business?
Sure. Well, actually, because you mentioned Blair Singer earlier, he wrote a fantastic book. It was Little Voice Mastery.
Yes.
But he's got so many techniques in that are just spot on to what you need. Something that I've adopted in my life a lot is celebrating your wins. Every day you have, no matter how big or small, you've got to celebrate your wins. And in fact, you see all pro athletes doing this, professional sports teams doing this. Whenever somebody gets a win, they celebrate it. In football, if somebody scored a goal,
I'm just going to say,
go, see you later, well done.
Oh,
Celebrate.
yeah. I know, they go crazy, don't they? Ripping their shirts off, like screaming and shouting. It's so funny because, do you know, one of the things we do a lot at the actual live training events we run is we get people to celebrate their successes because we realize how important it is. And it might be a case of, look, we get them into a group of 4 or 5 and we ask them to write down the biggest success they've ever had in their life. And you'll get people tell you like really impressive stuff like, and you'll say to them, what was your biggest success? And they'll say, the day I got my 2-1 at university. And they'll say it like that. And I'm like, all right, you're not even that pleased about it. And they're like, well, yeah. And I'm like, no, that's ridiculous. You got a 2-1 or you got a 2-2, whatever. You got a degree. Do you know how many people in the world do that? There's not that many in comparison to the population. So it's a massive thing. So like you need to celebrate it. And we force them. We force them to sort of step out and just celebrate like crazy. And we get the team to support them purely to get them used to celebrating successes. Because it might seem like a small success, but it's a success at the end of the day. It's a step forward. It's a even if that's only an inch forward, it's still moving forward in the right direction. So you've got to learn to celebrate them. The problem I see is people don't celebrate the successes, but they dwell on the failures, and they let failure hold them back in everything they do. But they don't see the success, which then, do you know what? Actually, I'm doing well. I'm doing good. But they just pick up. They focus on the bad stuff.
I've spoken a lot to people recently about, you know, your focus and where you're putting that focus is what is going to expand.
Yeah.
So spending the whole time focusing on failures, what's going to happen? You're just going to get more failures.
Yeah, of course.
With celebrating on wins as well, you know, small children, if you've got small children, when they do something good, you reward them because then they subconsciously know that is a good behavior, and they need to do more of that behavior because they get a reward for it.
Yeah.
So I don't know at what point we decide to switch that off and go, I'm not celebrating or rewarding good behavior.
I think it's social pressure. I think social pressure adds a lot to that, because it's the let's say the embarrassment of celebrating. It comes down to people's opinion. You're worrying about people's opinion of what you're doing, and people don't want to be seen as self-congratulatory. Do you know what I mean? They don't want to congratulate themselves. But that's wrong, because, as you said, when you're children, they do. So at what point did that all change?
You notice it when you, so particularly with the work that you're doing, and you congratulate somebody or you give them a compliment, do you notice that they'll be like, oh yeah, but I didn't quite get it right, or
Yeah,
and they'll shrug off the compliment.
they deflect it.
Yeah.
Listen, literally, you can go up to somebody and I can say, look, do you know what? What you done was truly amazing. Like, really well done. And they won't just say, thank you. They'll say, oh yeah, but it was somebody else. Or they'll always have oh yeah, okay, but, no, but. Just say, do you know what? It was. Thank you very much. Receive. People need to start receiving a bit more love and a bit more praise, because I think it's due. I think people need to receive it and accept it. So, my man, what would you say is the top tips for people to go about sorting this out, so that this is in the right place, so that they can move forward within their business?
Okay, it always comes down to how you start your day. If you start your day getting up late, watching the news, especially now when there's so much negativity, scrolling through social media, you're going to set your mindset to a very low temperature, to a very negative temperature. And you're not going to be able to get hold of it again for the rest of the day. So you've got to have a strong morning routine, do some reading, eat a good breakfast, make sure you get a good night's sleep as well. Do some form of exercise, just to get the blood moving, get yourself going. Meditation, that's massive for me, particularly at a time like this. Center yourself. And people feel so weird, oh, I don't meditate, I'm not that spiritual person. It's not spiritual or anything. It's just about, just taking some time for yourself and getting present.
Do you know, let me tell you, I'm going to just interrupt you very quickly. I agree. You can come back to what you said in a minute. I agree with you so far entirely. The first thing, when people wake up in the morning, what's the first thing to do?
Yeah.
Get their phone out and look at the crap on social media, right? The first thing, they'll probably do it lying in bed. So instantly they're filling their head of negativity. They're filling their head of bad news. It's just not the way to start the day. And then they watch the news, and then that's again full of negativity, full of bad stuff. I do not believe in even looking at your phone when you get out. I wouldn't look at my phone until at least I've had a shower.
Yeah.
Get up. My routine, I get up every day between 7 and 7:30, have a shower. And then I go into a bit of a routine, bit of exercise, bit of moving about. And one of the things we do at the events, every event we run, the first thing we do when everyone arrives at the room in the morning is we always have what's called a welcome back. And it involves dancing, jumping, bouncing. And that's just to get them in the right frame of the body ready. Get the blood moving, get the blood pumping, and just have a little bit of fun. So I agree with you entirely, and completely agree with you.
And we're not doing that because it's Happy Clappy Club, are we? We're doing it to get people awake. You've just had lunch or you've just had dinner. You're going to be feeling a bit sluggish. So you do some exercise to get yourself going again.
Get yourself going again. I completely agree with you on that. So what else, Tom? What else?
Gratitude as well. This is, again, people think that gratitude is so wishy-washy, but it's the purpose of it. Successful people, when they are focusing on gratitude, they are thinking about all the things that they do have in their life. Mm-hmm. It's creating that abundance mindset. If you have an abundance mindset, you're going to have an abundance of love. You're going to have an abundance of money in your life, and wealth. So it's about where a lot of people focus on the lack and what they don't have.
Yeah.
So list out in the morning, list out things that you are grateful for, things that are in your life that you appreciate and that you need and you enjoy having around.
Yeah, I agree with that. Gratitude is really important. You mentioned meditation. Do you meditate every day?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really, I need to start doing that, I think.
About, it's 10, 20 minutes. I'm not going or anything. I'm just sitting there, just breathing.
And inside, yeah, I know. I've just met I've met a really nice person. Uh, yeah, I've just met somebody, a really nice person, and they're very spiritual. And do you know Sarah Tavira?
Yes, yeah.
She reminds me of Sarah, because Sarah was very spiritual, and I love Sarah so much. She's an amazing woman, amazing woman.
With Russell and in India as well.
Yeah, you remember? Yeah, she was there. She's really, really spiritual, and this lady I've just met, she's very spiritual, and it is very interesting listening to what they've got to say, because I believe I need to be a bit more spiritual, and she's helping me with that a little bit. So I truly believe that, and I truly believe that meditation is good, and I just think we need to calm our minds a little bit and stop the noise, stop all the background, stop all the clutter, and just take even if it's 10-15 minutes a day, just spend that 10-15 minutes a day just calming your environment and calming yourself. I think it's so important, definitely for that.
Yeah, big time. And I think right now, with everything going on, people, this is what I've noticed. So somebody said this to me the other day. The whole world right now is outside of its comfort zone.
Yeah,
everybody's outside their comfort zone without a choice. So for the likes of me and you, where we do this on a daily basis anyway,
yeah,
good. We're used to it. We're used to the emotions that come up as well. But for a lot of people,
well, literally, most of the world live well within their comfort zones.
Yeah.
Most of the world are one paycheck away from being bankrupt. That's the reality. That's not my opinion. Nobody gives a shit about my opinion, right? My opinion is irrelevant. It's fact. Like the vast majority of the world is one payday away from being bankrupt or being financially crippled, right? Now, what's happening now is we're in a situation that we've never seen. We've not seen since World War II, okay? We've not seen since the plague, where they're telling us we've got to stay home and we can't go out and only key workers can work and all that sort of stuff. So people can't earn any money. Now, fundamentally, in the UK, the majority of people are employed, okay? So there's protections being put in place for the employed people. They've got, the government have stepped in with this 330 billion grant scheme where they're going to pay up to 80% of their salaries, up to £2,500 a month. That's great. Self-employed, at present, at time of filming this, which is 25th of March, there's nothing being put in place to help self-employed. But and also business owners, there's not much being put in place to help business owners. I know we can defer VAT, we can defer taxes and stuff, but my point being is surely now, more so important than ever, is the time to understand and to create multiple streams of income and not just having one income.
Yes.
But I don't know about yourself, but certainly me, like I've got a book, my book still sells. That's making £1,200 to £1,500 a month on Amazon. Right? I've got my property income. Now, providing the tenants still pay their rent, that's still going to keep paying me cash flow every month. And I've got other income streams as well. So I've got like 5 income streams bringing me money every single month. The whole point of me doing this YouTube channel is I want to help people create multiple streams. I want people to go out and develop and to learn so they can earn more, because I don't believe anyone should have just one income stream. And I think Warren Buffett said that if you cannot work out a way, I'm sure it was Warren Buffett, he said, if you cannot figure out a way to make money while you sleep, you'll always be working. And essentially, you'll always be in a position where you're vulnerable. So I think now more than ever, it's so important. I think it's so important. What do you think about
that? I agree, because, and this is, this might make some people squirm, but what needs to happen is a sense of responsibility and ownership needs to take place, because a lot of people will be going, there'll be two types of people: those that take responsibility, and those will be going, oh, the government, they didn't come and rescue me, they didn't come and save me, they weren't there to support me or help me. But then there'll be those people who go, do you know what, I'm in this situation, I don't have much support from the outside, but I'm going to make it work, I'm going to take ownership of it. Responsibility literally means your ability to respond to something. So what is your ability to respond to this pandemic and this crisis happening?
Yeah.
And not now. There is always going to be challenges. We've had Brexit, 2020 is the year of Corona. What's going to be in 2021? You know, there's always going to be something. So you can always.
I agree entirely. I think everyone needs to start taking responsibility for their own success and stop relying on somebody else to give it to you or to bring it to you. We all need to own it. I believe everyone needs to own their own destiny. And stop blaming people. I'm sick and tired of hearing people blame others for their lack of success, their lack of money, their lack of opportunity. The amount of times people have had a go at me saying I was given all this opportunity. No, I wasn't. I went out and I found the opportunity. I attended the networking events. I put myself in a position of being there to be able to take the opportunities when they come up. I wasn't sat at home watching Love Island. I wasn't sat in the pub with my mates. I wasn't socializing. I was out doing the graft, doing the hard work, when everyone else, all these people that say I got lucky, were watching EastEnders. But they don't see that because we don't publicize that. But my point being is, it's like yourself. You've had to work incredibly hard. You've had to educate. You've had to invest. And now you're starting to see the rewards, which is great. So although this is unprecedented times and nobody knows what's going to happen, I'm far more comfortable in this situation with the knowledge I have and with the abilities I have than I would have been, say, 3 years ago without that education, without that ability. Do you know what I mean? I'm sure. I hope that made sense.
It really does, and I really resonate with that, because right now I feel good, you know, and I appreciate there is a lot of pain, there is a lot of suffering happening out there, and I really do wish that people are staying safe, they're staying healthy.
Oh, yeah.
I'm looking at my own business, where I can take it, and I've seen more activity now, more than ever.
Yeah.
So yeah, now is a time to break through. Now is the time for opportunity in your businesses. It's a massive place of opportunity right now.
I think so.
I'm speaking to clients. They're still making money. They're signing up clients.
Yeah.
It's happening.
Yeah. Business goes on. Do you know, I'm also seeing a thing at the minute with the coronavirus, and people saying that we shouldn't be running businesses, and people, all these negative people saying it's shameful to be charging people at this point and charging for coaching and charging. Come on. Listen, people, business goes on, because at the end of the day, this will blow over. Now, it might be 6 weeks, it might be 6 months, but ultimately this will sort itself out. It will sort itself out, okay, eventually. Now, and when it does, we need an infrastructure to come back to. We need business to come back to. And if we all go by the mentality of nobody should be doing business at this point, or nobody should be selling or charging people for anything, I'm sorry, but that's just such a broke mindset. That is such a broke, backwards mindset. Come on, it's just not sustainable. And if you think that, then that's fine. I respect your opinion. I disagree entirely with it, but I respect that. But yeah, I think now is the time to, as Warren Buffett says, when everyone's scared, you should be greedy, and you should be investing. And I think now is the time to invest. I'm investing in stocks at the minute. I'm investing in stocks and shares at the minute as well. So I've just put 10 grand into stocks and shares yesterday. And I'm investing money in other stuff. So I'm diversifying. I'm moving away from property at this very, very minute. What I'm seeing with my properties at the minute, I've got 2 properties going through at the minute. And the valuation guy, the surveyor, went out on Friday to do one of them. And I'm waiting for the report, but I'm very concerned about the valuation he's going to give me now. just purely because of the uncertainty. So,
And I think,
oh.
I just wanted to say, you know, something that really, you know, I'm glad that a year ago I made a decision to create my own business that would enable me to eventually leave my job. Because when this was all kicking off, I know people were panicked about they were going to get a phone call from their boss saying there wasn't going to be a job or anything, and it was nice to be able to just relax and say, I'm my boss. You know, I'm not expecting a phone call going, Tom, I don't have a job for you.
Yeah, you're going to phone yourself, Tom, you're sacked.
Equally, I now realise, you know, okay, I'm in this position, great, but now I have to help. Now I have to serve people, because there are a lot of people struggling right now.
You know what annoys me, right? Tom, I know you. Like, I know you're a genuine guy. I know you're come from a place of helping. But all these people out there will say, "Oh, you're just trying to sell to me." All these skeptics and negatives. You're just trying to profit off the back of it. We're really not. Now, we're delivering value. We're delivering a good service, a great service, and it helps people set themselves up for the next time we have this sort of stuff. And of course, there's got to be a fair exchange. Come on, of course there is, because you've invested tens of thousands of pounds, if not 20s, 30s of thousands of pounds into your own education. I myself, I know in the last 3 years, I've spent nearly £50,000 on my own education. And we've got to, come on, we can't give that away for free all the time. So if we as companies charge for coaching, that's because we've invested, and we've invested that sort of money ourselves. I would never ask somebody to invest money with me that I've not invested with somebody else.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So how can our viewers get in touch with you if they want to speak to you about some sort of coaching, or how can they reach you?
Sure. So the best ways to find me are on Facebook. I'm on Facebook, very active on there, on LinkedIn. So if you just go Tom Cooke, it's Cook with an E, or you can email me at tomwjcook, again Cook with an E, @gmail.com.
Okay, that's great. What I'll do is I will stick I'll speak to Tom and I'll get your details, your email and your Facebook and that, and I'll stick them in the description of this video, so anyone who wants to get in touch can just click on the link and get in touch with you. But Tom, thank you very, very much for your time. Thank you for allowing us to have this meeting, especially in these hard times. I wish you very much success with your business. Cannot wait to see you at our next event. And yeah, thank you very, very much. I know our viewers will love that.
Thank you so much for having me. I've really enjoyed this. Thank you, mate.
No worries. Listen, guys, if you found that useful, make sure you leave a comment. Tell us what you loved about it. Tell us what you didn't as well. I'm very open for criticism. I don't mind. I'm very open to it. So leave a comment below. Make sure if you've not subscribed, hit the subscribe button down there, and you'll get videos every week. And we'll be bringing you more great content like this every single week going forward. So guys, thank you very, very much. Make sure you tune in for the next video next week, and I shall see you there. Thank you, guys.